It's a wonderful day today, and we have just a tremendous guest that's on that I'm so glad that he's here. It's someone I've known for quite a few years, and he continues to do tremendous work. And I want to introduce him now. So, welcome to Wealth Academy Podcast, Rovan Deon. Good day, and how you doing, my friend?
Oh, Paul, just doing great, my friend. Thank you for having me today.
Honored to have you on here today. Now, get ready, everyone. Contact your family, your friends, and your colleagues so that they can tune in and they can listen to what Rovan has to share. But before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about him. Rovan Deon is the breakthrough coach. Rovan is widely known as a breakthrough coach. He's a master of transformation who helps people break through emotional blocks, crush fear, and awaken their highest potential so that they can be unleashed in your life and in your business. And that's very important. With over 3 decades of experience, even though he looked like he's 20 in personal development, Rovan masterfully blends the science of the mind and the art of lasting change. He is a certified master NLP practitioner, certified hypnosis. Now that's very interesting, and holds multiple certifications in strategic intervention through the world-renowned Robbins-Madanes Training, founded by Tony Robbins and Chloe Mandanes. Through his breakthrough coaching method, Rovan fuses neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, and strategic intervention to create deep, rapid, and lasting transformation, helping clients not only melt away limiting beliefs, but also step into a new identity anchored in confidence, clarity, and purpose. And I'm here to tell you this is so needed today, given the society in which we're in and given the things that we're seeing each day that they say is called unprecedented, right? So without further ado, I'm going to get started with these interview questions for Rovan, and he's going to help pave the way for us all to greater understanding, more wisdom, more knowledge that we can move forward and navigate life as we know it. So Rovan, let's start at the beginning. What led you to become a results coach and founder of the Results Now group? Was there a defining moment in your life or career when you realized coaching would be your purpose?
Wow. Paul, I'll tell you something. This may sound very, very strange. They say you can't coach people unless you've been there yourself. I actually ran away from it.
I understand.
It's kind of like when you get hit with your purpose, it really scares the bejesus out of you.
It does.
And so what I did, my friend, is I ran away from it. I would call myself everything else but a coach. What do I mean? I said, oh wow, I've been teaching for over 20 some years in the educational system. Oh wow, I can put on the labels teacher. Okay, great. I'm gonna be that, but not a coach. I said, wow. So now I write books. I'm a 3-time best-selling author as well. So guess what? Well, maybe I'm an author. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm an author. I'm an author.
Transformation.
Yeah, I'm an author. And then all of a sudden, somehow I got into real estate and started being certified by the state of New York to teach all new real estate agents, and then ended up writing a bestseller out of that. And then I said, you know what? Well, maybe I'm going to be this real estate teacher. But no, not this thing called coach. And I tell you something, I took surveys, I took, how they do the Myers-Briggs and all of these assessments, and every time it came back as coach, and I would take it again. I was like, no, that can't be right. That can't be right.
Just to
Because
make sure.
yeah, just to make sure. And it was the fear. It was really the fear that was holding me back. And so what I ended up doing, to make a long story short, is I ended up going to Tony Robbins at a UPW event to bust open that fear. And I was like, you know what? Game on. Here I go. I am now the breakthrough success coach, and I'm leaning fully into that now.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it's one of those things that we go through and we, man search for uh, answers. You're
Ah,
looking for that big answer professionally here. And you looked at speaking, you looked at authorship. And by the way, you're a 3-time best-selling author. Is that correct? Or
Oh
4
yeah, you all know hopefully the fourth one will be. It's at the editor as we speak.
Yes.
I got my fingers crossed on that one.
Okay,
And what I
fantastic.
want to what I want to do with that is turn that one as an adventure story, and I want to see if I can turn that one, talking about living a big dream here and playing a big game. I want to see if I can turn that into a Netflix series.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I'm pulling for you, my friend, because more people need to hear what you have to say. I put you into that category when I define outstanding people as let your life shine so others may see what is possible for them. And Rovan Deon can do that. Absolutely. So let's look at when we look at results. When you talk about results with your clients, how do you define success both in business metrics and in deeper personal fulfillment? And how do you help people align those two? First of all, the business metrics, and then the deeper personal fulfillment from a success standpoint.
Oh, that's a great question. I'm so blessed. Let me just start there because I get a chance to be that person who actually get a chance to make a personal blueprint of what you say success is for you.
Correct. Hmm.
And what I mean by that is that I see people try to define what success is for themselves. But
Yes.
what's really important is that you define what success is going to look like for you because it's so distinctly different. And once we go through the process that we go through, I have a 12-week program in which we
Hmm.
begin to do that work. I have them to look at what it is that they really want for themselves, but I have them to do it in such a way where they are definitely being fulfilled in what they say they want, not just some goal, because I work with the whole person. Now we may be working together in their business, and at the same time working on your relationship and nutrition. It's like,
Absolutely. That's part of the whole person concept.
yeah, yeah, I believe in the whole person. So we define what those successes are in your health, in your finances, in your business, your personal life. We define what those things are for you and we go after it. And with the training that I now have, so
Mhm.
blessed to have it, I get a chance to make those quick and lasting changes.
Oh, definitely. And that's so needed. Again, oftentimes, sometimes people, like when I was in the military, I leaned a lot to the professional side because I
Mm.
really want to achieve success. But at times, it kind of went and put my personal life at risk, meaning during my entire 22 years in the Air Force, I never had a family, never got
Mm.
married, right? And so I sacrificed that during those 22 years for the professional accomplishment. And thank God I have retirement the rest of my life.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, that is so great, and you bring up a very good point, and that's the kind of thing I was just on with a client earlier today, and the balance is sometimes what missing, and so we hone in because we feel that we have to give up something in order to get something else, and I really do believe in the power of having it all, like
Yeah,
having the distinction of having it all. What is it that you really want? And let's just make that happen for yourself, such that you don't feel that you gotta give something up in order to have something or leave something
yeah,
behind, unless it doesn't serve you.
absolutely. And that's what's interesting. I was watching today's show, and Miss Crimes is her name. Chandra Grimes, and
Mm,
she
yes.
was on it. And that's one of the questions that came up with her. She said for a while she could not imagine herself doing an interview on TV. We're like, wait a minute, you're
Whoa.
doing these amazing shows and everything. And she said that she was shy about it. She didn't want to be in front of the camera. She wanted to be behind the camera. Chandra
Mm.
Rhimes is her name. I messed it up earlier, but what she said was she had to push beyond her limiting beliefs. And for someone of her magnitude to say that really speaks volumes about what a lot of people may be going through.
That's a very good point. And what I've found over the years, Paul, is that at the core, no matter what title we put on ourselves, whether we're a
Mhm.
millionaire, a billionaire, or whatever title that you have, at the core, we're
Yeah.
all human beings that have certain needs that we have to fulfill, and we all carry these limited beliefs, which is why I really focus in on that with my clients.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And let's look a little bit at mindset. You often
Mhm.
speak about breaking through fear. What are the most common fears you see coaches or entrepreneurs getting stuck on?
Yeah, that's very good because a lot of them see the thing about the limited beliefs is a lot of time people are unaware that they even have them.
Hmm.
That's the scary part. They're not even aware that they have. They just know that they're either stuck, can't break through, or just doesn't know how to move forward. It appears in those flavors. And so when it comes to limited beliefs, the ones that really comes up a lot of
Hmm.
time is I'm not good enough and I won't be loved.
Exactly. Love always plays a
Those
role.
are the top, those are the two. Yeah, those are the top two. But the thing
And
is
then,
about once we have those limit, go ahead, Paul.
yeah, and then how do you help them push beyond those fears?
That's where the training comes in. That's when the strategies come in. Neuro-linguistic programming
Programming.
is one of the quickest ways to break through those limited beliefs and fears, and also strategic interventions. And that's why I really wanted to go really deep into this because we have strategies in order to get people through those things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's really remarkable. And as you state, people don't know what they don't know. So you help them to know. To know better. And once we know better, we hopefully do better.
So great. I mean, you're just kind of parroting. You sure you weren't peeping into my last session, Paul?
I think I
Be-
was. If I'm smart, I would.
I tell you, that's exactly what we did. And the thing, the first one is awareness. You know,
Yes,
the awareness is and being vulnerable about that, just bringing it to the forefront, bringing it out of your blind spot into the forefront. Awareness is the very first step because once you're aware what's really holding you back, now we can get to work at removing those limited beliefs for you.
absolutely. I totally agree. I totally agree. Now, you've mentioned earlier that you've developed systems and frameworks that help coaches scale. Could you walk us through one of your signature frameworks and just share a little bit and share a real life example of how a client applied it and what shift it produced?
Great question. Great question. So I do have a strategy and a framework that I call the becoming method.
Okay.
And the becoming method is really towards my signature program. And I'll
Oh,
tell you something very fascinating. I really didn't know how fast it could work
sure.
when I first developed it. But just recently, I brought on a new client, and a very this person is just really remarkable. He's been a professor at a
Mhm.
university. He himself writes books, and he's just an extraordinary man. He's done like Christian making films, like he's just a very prestigious man.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden, we found ourselves in a session together, and he didn't know which way to go. Like he's done all these incredible things, but those fears and limited beliefs started to creep right in. And when
Yeah.
I tell you, within
Mhm.
one session, not only did he begin to move what he really wanted to do, he had already, like within a week, already had two new clients to write their memoirs. And these are some high influential memoirs that he's writing here.
Fantastic.
And I told him, I said, well, what would it be like for you to have an extra $10,000 a month?
Sure.
And he was like, well, that would change everything. I said, great, let's do that. And so now he's just got his first two clients, making well over 10K already. And I haven't even had my second session with him yet. We had that on Wednesday. Oh, sorry, yes, Wednesday. And he's already in action making that financial thing that he wanted to do. But not only that,
Mhm.
he is also fulfilled in what he's doing. We just kind of fulfill what that is for him, define his outcomes, and we
Yeah.
just went to work on it.
Passion and purpose, and his light bulb came on. And
It
it
was
goes back, yes, and it goes back to the first question. You said the first thing I have them do is an assessment. You have an assessment
yeah,
conducted, and that way, through the responses or through taking a survey, for example, assessment, people get to find out more about themselves because life really gets busy at times, and people just don't look inward. Oftentimes, people look outward
yeah,
at
very
life.
true. Very,
Yeah.
very true.
So
Very
that's
true.
fantastic. 10K a month. Yes, that's a good day.
Yeah. I mean, I figure if I could have my clients to make 10K a month, they could easily
Sure,
scale to 100,000 to
absolutely.
beyond. I mean,
Scale it.
it's just that you don't know what you don't know. And with me, I spend like this year alone, I probably spent close to 80,000 just on personal development. So I just paid like $35,000 to be in this mastermind. So the
Uh-huh.
proximity is power. So when my
It
clients
is.
come to me, they get a chance to actually take benefit of that knowledge that I'm
Sure.
receiving.
Absolutely. So as you go about increasing your knowledge, wisdom for your systems and your structures, you can pass that on to those amazing clients.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. So, burnout happens to be one of the big words that people are talking about, no matter what industry it happens to be. It could be sports, it could be business, you name it. One big challenge many coaches face is the scaling their business while maintaining balance and avoiding burnout. How have you personally navigated that tension, and what systems or disciplines do you encourage for your clients to adopt? So, in other words, how do you personally navigate that tension itself to avoid that burnout?
Yeah, one of the things that you got, first of all, you have to define a big enough why for yourself.
Mhm.
Like you have to have a big enough why, a compelling future that's going to pull you towards that future.
Uh,
And by you doing that alone helps you to be really passionate and not burn out. Now, those times when you do feel overwhelmed and burnt out, there are strategies that I use in which I deal a lot with state changes. And this is totally what Tony Robbins and
uh-huh.
Chloe Madanes has taught us to do is
Sure.
to be able to be the master of two things, master of your emotions
Yes.
and master of your state change.
Hmm.
Because if you can master those two things, even there are times when I feel very tired, I'm burnt out. I actually what my coach is actually that I'm with right now is actually in Australia.
Okay.
His name is
Okay.
Richmond Dean, and Richmond Dean is a revolutionary guy who's created the Tiny Challenge.
Uh-huh.
And that's Australia times because sometimes I'm on Australia time. So that means that if I'm doing a workshop with them or getting training, I'm
Sure.
going from 6 o'clock in the morning to 4 a.m. and
Exactly.
still have to have energy, have the distinction of
Resilient.
being 10
Uh,
times more excited, mastering my state and my energy. And so when you are trained to that level, you can change your energy, your state in an
mhm.
instant when you're
Yes.
trained
Yeah.
that way. And I do try to pass that on to my clients because as I know, sir, that being an entrepreneur
Yeah.
and putting in those times and navigating those water can be quite exhausting. But I
For
tell
sure.
you, you have a compelling future. You know how to master your state and your emotion.
Mhm.
Game is over.
Absolutely. And having spent 2 weeks in Australia, the time differential makes a difference. It
Ah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
is. It's
Yeah.
tough. So thank
Yes.
you for sharing that. But you hear this about burnout, that about burnout. So what you do is take people to that self-care realm, take them to
Oh,
that level, and show them the importance of what uh, self-care is all about and how that can help them to avoid that burnout for
yeah,
sure.
that's true, Paul. And I tell you, the very first thing that when I work with a client, I have them do one thing that they probably have not quite done for themselves,
Sure.
and that is to choose and commit to themselves.
Yes.
I have them to choose them because a lot
Oh,
of times the people that we meet in our circles, we're givers, we're
yeah.
servers, and we put everyone else first.
First.
And what I do, the first thing I have my clients to do is to choose themselves.
Yes. That's a good choice too.
Yeah. Yeah, and usually when I do that, there's this lightness and this weight that's been lifted to know that, that I matter and that
Yep.
I'm worthy for what I'm about to step into.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me about a time when something you tried in coaching, business, or leadership failed or didn't go as planned. What did you learn from that, and how did it refine your approach moving forward?
But I'll tell you, I got one even better for you. When I first started out as a coach, I failed miserably.
Like we all do.
It's like this thing called coaching and running a business. I I didn't know what to do because I only thing I knew is that I wanted to eventually when I got there, when I got to that point, I really knew I was coaching on the side, but I hadn't fully leaned in. I was running,
Sure.
like I said, I was running away. I was kind of playing around with it
Sure.
um, and making a ton of mistakes.
Mhm.
and I tried this. I what I did was this. I went out to try to do everything, try to learn everything, as opposed to just taking what was needed. I was trying to learn it all.
Oh,
And
right.
because I love learning,
Me
I was
too.
literally trying to learn it all. Talking about overwhelm.
Yeah, learning keeps
Um,
you young.
yeah, learning keeps you young. Uh, and I tell you, in business, I made a lot of mistakes because I at first I didn't treat it like a business. I treated it like I would say more of a hobby that I really loved learning, like kind of like how I have my 6 guitars that are over here. I love playing guitar, and it's a very passionate hobby. But
Uh-huh.
having a hobby and having a business are two separate things.
Yeah.
And so I made a lot of mistakes. But what I did is that I put myself in different masterminds
Mhm.
in order to bring all those pieces together. And some people's like, wow, $35,000 to be in a mastermind. Well, that's why you do it, because you invest into yourself. That's the greatest return on investment. And you have to be able to go with someone who's done it before you. And so that's the
Exactly.
real key. So you can shorten time, collapse time,
Yeah.
and not make those dreaded mistakes that's very common when people first starting out.
Yes, and we don't want people to get the idea that, oh, failure is final. It really is not final. It actually are the stepping stones to success for
That's
everybody.
that that's what That's right. That's right. And I was just reading something just very recently around that. It's just like, if you begin to look at failure as something that's, first of all, is part of the success process. Tell
Yeah,
me any great athlete, the reason Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan because he dared to miss more baskets than anyone else.
exactly. Yeah,
Muhammad Ali, the way he came to greatest is that, he was able to train and to fail.
yeah,
Thomas Edison, as far as the light bulb, we know
yeah.
how many times, yeah, it's like you got it's the failure is part of the process of
Process.
success. And you will not reach success unless you fail. But
Yes,
here's the thing, as you mentioned, is learning the lessons that are inside of this. You fail forward, not fail backwards. It's all
yes.
part of the process. And people pretend and have this limited belief. Talking about limited belief, that failure, this thing called failure, is not part of the success process.
Uh, yes, absolutely.
It is. You have to. The
The
more you're
part,
willing to fail, the more you're going to learn, the better off you, the better you're going to be.
absolutely. And you know that quote that to be a coach, you have to know X amount more than your client or your student. And that's very true. And that's because of investing in yourself and reading and going through the process of, oh, I made a mistake here, but I can recoup from it.
Yes.
And that's the important thing that we want people to take away from that. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now,
Yes.
Rovan, looking further ahead beyond revenue or reach, what legacy or impact do you want to leave on your clients and beyond? So, what change in the hearts, minds, or lives of people do you hope your work produces? So, what
Paul,
type of legacy do you want to leave?
Paul, when all is said and done, when all is said and done, I want to be that person who's lying there at end of life and said that I made a difference.
Yes.
And it's very, very serious for me,
Hmm.
very emotional for me, because I want people to have their lives.
Yes.
I want people to be fulfilled.
Hmm.
But not only that, the reason I train so hard
Hmm.
is because I want my work to have a ripple effect for generations to come.
Hmm. And that's very possible.
And that's why I want to do this work.
Hmm.
And that's why I was so afraid at the same time.
Yeah. Well, that what that tells me is that you care, and that's important. That
Yes,
you care.
yes.
And what is that quote? People don't care how much you know;
Mm,
they want to know how much you care.
that's right.
So a person can come in and they don't have any warts on them, so to speak, as a speaker. And people are like, well, I can't rise to that level. But if you come in and you share the fact that, oh, I made this mistake, that mistake, I had no control over this, but I was still a part of it, they
Yeah,
can identify with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. So what advice do you have for aspiring coaches, for someone who is just starting out as a coach who wants to transition into coaching, that thing that you are running away from, especially in today's saturated market?
First of all, I would say stop running.
Yeah, keep your jogging shoes on, but keep moving.
Yeah, I think coaching is is kind of like certain professions. Um, for example, a firefighter. I think it's a calling.
Yeah.
Police officers. I think it's a calling because I
Mhm,
know that if there's a fire this way, I'm
mhm.
running that way.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to choose a job where bullets are going to fly at me. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. But
Yes.
coaching is sort of the same thing. It's a calling.
Absolutely.
And a calling is something that you will never, no matter how you run, there
Mhm.
you are.
Yes, right in the
So
center.
so the first thing is stop running. Coaching is a calling for
Yeah.
someone to because coaching is service to humanity at the
Mhm.
highest level.
Yes, absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
I would say for if there's any coaches out there or anyone who's wanted to do any sort of things like any change work that you know that you can make a difference, you have been chosen. You have
Yes.
been chosen, and I would say find the right people to align yourselves with.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to invest in yourself because that was one of the big mistakes that I did. I tried to do everything on YouTube and for free, and
Mhm.
I got everything. And my bank account did not move.
Exactly. So
So
in other words, you're making that comparison between do it yourself and done for you. And done
right.
for you means you hiring someone who's levels above you in terms of the expertise.
And that's another thing. I tried to do
Me
you talk
too.
about big mistake. I try to do it alone because I pride myself on being someone halfway intelligent,
Yeah.
and says, you know what? I love to learn. This is my opportunity to learn, 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 learn.
Uh-huh.
5 years went by, 7 years went by, and I was still pretty much just in the same place. Um, that's why I offer. I don't do. Like that's one of the reasons that I don't do a course for people because even though I'm in education for 20
True.
something years, I can create a course like tomorrow. But
Hmm.
what I found that most people don't complete them
That's right.
and they try to do it on their own. And
Oh,
so my process that I take my people on when I'm with them, it is a done with you
you.
model. It is
Yes.
done with you. We walked through those fires together,
Yes.
and you may be in the deep end, but I will never let you drown.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes, like they said, my coach said, sometimes I gotta let you take on a little bit of water to
Right.
just so you really get it for yourself and learn what there is to learn, but I'll never let you drown. So when
Uh-huh.
coming on board with me, you don't walk that journey alone. It's no
Exactly.
more being by yourself, trying to do it alone, trying to figure it out by yourself. And
Uh-huh.
you collapse time and you just move 10 times faster. And it's just so much easier when you have a coach.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And as I mentioned before and earlier, that I was going to read some more about Rovan's background. I'm going to share that at this point. He is known for his rare ability to make the impossible possible. In today's society, we need that. Rovan Deon's breakthrough coaching has been pivotal for vice president at some of the world's largest banks, educators, brain surgeons, and ghostwriters to some of the world's most famous celebrities. Moreover, his guidance has touched the lives of lawyers, Grammy-nominated authors, artists, filmmakers, and speechwriters for presidents, as well as family members of the heads of states of Africa. And this showcases his versatility and profound impact across various people, businesses, and industries global. Now, Rovan, if you could share how people can get in touch with you so that they can sign up for your breakthrough coaching. I have that feeling right now, people, that someone needs this. They need to hear this.
Yes, I
You
mean,
would share that.
I mean, if you are looking for your breakthrough, it's very easy. I don't do anything fancy. You can find me on Facebook under Rovan Deon.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing you have to do is to private message me and just tight breakthrough. And I know that you're ready to go.
Ready to roll. And they can get your books on Amazon. I was looking over Amazon today and I saw 4 books there.
Yeah. Well, maybe I think one maybe they did one in audio. I never know,
Wow.
but
Okay.
I hope there's an extra one there.
Go to, go to Amazon.com and look up Rovan Deon, and you'll see those books there. I saw it this morning.
Nice, nice, nice,
All
nice.
right. So, everyone, before we go, I want to really thank Rovan for being our guest. It has been a fantastic conversation. So, thank you for sharing so transparently your journey, your insight, and tools you use to help others truly transform. Before we wrap up, is there one final message or piece of wisdom you'd like to leave with listeners? And that would be outstanding.
I would say that if this calls to you, and you will know if it does, if it touches your heart, you know that you were meant for more and that you have a purpose. And if you want to do that, I would say just lean into it,
Mhm.
trust, have faith, and then reach out to the people that can help you to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Rovan, thanks again for being a guest today. And to everyone listening and those who will listen on the archive, stay tuned for our next episode. Until next time, keep pushing, growing, and bringing your impact into the world. And don't forget, go to Apple Podcasts. That's where I'm centrally locating all the episodes now. And prompt on episode 313 with Rovan Deon. Provide a 5-star rating and also a review of this particular episode, and continue to be richly blessed. Again, I'm your host, Paul Lawrence Vann. Thank you all so much for being amazing guests. And Rovan Deon, you have a wonderful day, my friend.
All right, Paul, thank you so much. And audience, thank you for listening.
Okay. All right. Hold on.